100 years ago, Gonzaga was briefly in the same conference as Wazoo and Oregon State in the little-known Pacific Northwest Intercollegiate Conference, where some schools simultaneously held dual membership in the Pacific Coast Conference. And a century later, Gonzaga once again will be reunited in the same league as Wazoo and Oregon State in the Pac-12. Gonzaga is number one in the country in tenure KenPom. The Big 12 leads the whole country with a 38.6 average, led by Kansas in second, Baylor in fifth, and Arizona in 10th. The Big 10 comes in second with a 41.1 average, led by Purdue in fourth and Michigan State in ninth. The SEC comes in third with a 47.6 average, led by Kentucky in seventh. The Big East comes in fourth with a 48.5 average, led by Villanova in sixth. The ACC comes in fifth with a 59.7 average, led by Duke in third and North Carolina in eighth. And the Pac-12 comes in sixth with a 74.4 average, led by Gonzaga in first, and then you have San Diego State in 28th, Boise State in 63rd, Utah State in 68th, Colorado State in 94th, Wazoo in 111th, Oregon State in 114th, and Fresno State in 116th. The gap between fifth place in the ACC at 59.7 and sixth place in the Pac-12 at 74.4 is an average of 14.7. And that gap of 14.7 between the ACC and Pac-12 is less than a third of the gap between the Pac-12 and Atlantic 10, which is about 47.2. The Atlantic 10 is seventh in tenure KenPom, led by Virginia Commonwealth in 50th and Dayton in 52nd. In eighth for tenure KenPom is probably the most underrated league in the country in the Missouri Valley metrics-wise. The MVC has an average of 149.7. They are followed in ninth by the American, which has an average of 150.5, led by Wichita State in 43rd and Memphis in 62nd. In 10th with an average of 159.3 is the West Coast Conference, led by St. Mary's in their top 15 program. And in 11th with an average of 167.8 is the Mountain West. I'm putting the cart before the horse and including Hawaii in that average. Gonzaga brings the number one tenure KenPom in the country to the Pac-12. They are followed by Kansas at number 2, Duke at number 3, Purdue at number 4, and Baylor at number 5. Gonzaga also brings the number one 5-year KenPom to the Pac-12. They are followed by number 2 Houston, number 3 Baylor, number 4 Kansas, and number 5 Arizona. Interestingly, number 2 through 5 are all from the Big 12. Now we are looking at NCAA tournament units from the last 10 NCAA tournaments. Remember that making the national championship game does not count as an extra unit. Units expire at the Final Four. In the upper left, you have the average number of NCAA tournament units over the last 10 tournaments for each conference, and it is adjusted per school, not per year, it is per school. And first, you have the Big 12 with an average of 12.1. They're led by Kansas having 30 units, Baylor having 21 units, and then Arizona and Houston having 20. Of course, remember that all units earned stick with their old conferences that were accumulated at the time that those units were made. In second is the Big 10 with an average of 11.9, led by Michigan State at 27, Michigan at 24, and then Purdue, Wisconsin, UCLA at 22, and Oregon at 20. In third is the Big East at 10.4, led by Villanova at 26 and UConn at 19. In fourth is the SEC at 10.3, led by Kentucky at 27 and Tennessee at 19. In fifth is the ACC at 10.2, led by Duke at 30 and North Carolina at 29. Number 3 through number 5, the Big East, SEC, and ACC are all very tightly packed together from 10.4 to 10.3 to 10.2. And then in sixth at 9.0 is the Pac-12, led by Gonzaga's 36 NCAA tournament units over the last 10 tournaments. Gonzaga is followed by San Diego State's 16 units. Gonzaga's 36 units is actually equal to the other 7 schools' NCAA tournament units combined, as they totaled 36 units combined. Gonzaga's 36 units over the last 10 NCAA tournaments led the entire country. Tied for second was Kansas and Duke at 30 apiece, 6 behind Gonzaga. In fourth, you had North Carolina at 29, and in a tie for fifth were Michigan State and Kentucky at 27. Now looking at some TV ratings highlights, we're looking at the regular season only and only for men's basketball. In the 2018-2019 season, the Gonzaga-Duke game on November 21 on ESPN drew 2.296 million viewers. That was a top 10 regular season cable rating. The Gonzaga-North Carolina game on December 15 on The Deuce drew 1.466 million viewers. That was the second highest on The Deuce all season. And then the Gonzaga-San Diego Toreros game on February 16 on ESPN drew 1.082 million viewers. That outdrew other big names on the same day, such as Maryland and Michigan on Fox, Kansas, West Virginia on ESPN, and Texas, Oklahoma State on CBS. In the 2020-2021 season, Gonzaga's two CBS games ranked 10th and 11th of the 33 CBS regular season games that season. On December 19, Gonzaga, Iowa drew 1.351 million viewers, and on December 26, Gonzaga, Virginia drew 1.348 million viewers. Furthermore, Gonzaga's two Fox games ranked 4th and 8th of 32 Fox games that regular season. On November 26, Gonzaga, Kansas drew 1.253 million viewers, and on November 27, Gonzaga, Auburn drew 1.026 million viewers. In the 2021-2022 regular season, Gonzaga Duke on November 26 on ESPN was second in ratings with 2.793 million viewers. That trailed only Coach K's finale between Duke and North Carolina on March 5th. The Gonzaga-Texas Tech game on December 18 on CBS drew 1.01 million viewers. That ranked 20th of 33 for regular season CBS games. In the 2022-2023 regular season, the Gonzaga-Michigan State game on Veterans Day on ESPN drew 1.478 million viewers. That ranked 4th for pre-Christmas cable TV. The Kentucky-Gonzaga game on November 20 on ESPN drew 1.356 million viewers on an NFL Sunday. That ranked 3rd for NFL Sunday games on all networks. The Gonzaga-Texas game on November 16 on ESPN2 drew 758,000 viewers. That ranked 4th for the Deuce. And finally, this past season, 2023-2024, the Gonzaga-Kentucky game on February 10 on CBS drew 2.308 million viewers. That ranked 7th for all games during the men's basketball regular season. The Purdue-Gonzaga game on November 20 on The Deuce drew 623,000 viewers. That ranked 8th for the Deuce. Here are the highest pre-Christmas TV ratings since 2018. We're excluding any games that were played on Thanksgiving Day since that can give games a massive boost. Of those top 6 games, 10 of the 12 teams were 4 Blue Bloods: Duke, North Carolina, Kentucky, and Kansas. The other 2 teams were Gonzaga both times. Of those top 6 games, only 5 schools were represented: Duke 4 times, Kentucky 3 times, Gonzaga twice, North Carolina twice, and Kansas once. Here are the men's basketball expenses for the Pac-12. The top line is the Sportico database, which is the most accurate, but it's Publix only. And then the bottom 2 lines are the Department of Education EADA database. Gonzaga's $12.6 million men's basketball budget would rank 36th in Division I. San Diego State would be 70th, Oregon State 90th, Colorado State 98th, Wazoo 99th, Utah State 112th, Boise State 116th, and Fresno State 135th. Gonzaga's conference history began with the Pacific Northwest Intercollegiate Conference when they spent a year with the likes of Washington, Wazoo, Oregon, Oregon State, who was then Oregon Agricultural College, Idaho, Montana, and a few others. The Big Sky would be founded on Gonzaga's campus in December 1962, and the Big Sky would start play in the 63-64 school year. Gonzaga would remain in the Big Sky for 16 years, up through 78-79, the same year as Magic and Bird game. And that summer, Gonzaga would switch to the West Coast Athletic Conference, the WCAC. The WCAC would then be shortened to the WCC, the West Coast Conference, and Gonzaga would spend 47 years in the West Coast Conference up through the 2025-2026 school year, when they will now reunite with Wazoo and Oregon State like they were a century ago. in the Pac-12 conference in 2026.